Good Friday morning. Welcome in. SimWorld today. The Bonner brothers are back. Rick Blaze joining me on this April 26th in a big day in the sporting world. We'll start with the SW. Actually, first off, how about I be cordial? Good morning, Rick. How you doing?
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I'm doing good. The Bunny Boys are here on a Friday. Bunnet Marsh, Bunnet
I'm,
Blaze.
I'm starting to feel it.
What
I'm
ha-
starting to feel it.
you look good, man. You look really good. You look
Appreciate
really
it.
good.
I appreciate it. Might have to get a couple more colors here because, mix and match. We are going to jump in
100%.
SWBA playoffs. Big night last night where the Knicks get on the board, the Magic get on the board, and the Lakers again do not. We'll start with the Knicks. Embiid, 50 points to help the Sixers beat the Knicks. So the Knicks no longer up to, beg your pardon there earlier. Huge night from Embiid. He looked good. He still prods up and down the floor, Rick, but this is why the Sixers were determined to win game two because they've got a real shot in this series.
I mean, of course they have a shot. They're a better seed. But
Sixers aren't the
if
better seed,
Embiid,
6-7.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. They have MVP caliber in Embiid. But if Embiid has to score 50 every night for them to win the game, good luck. And he's obviously not 100%. I saw still shots of blood coming through the pants shorts or whatever. I don't know if that's drummed up. I have no idea how. But obviously he's not 100%. Um, and obviously, I think there's a lot of 76ers fans that's trying to they're in trouble. This is going to be a struggle bus series for them. And B is going to have to be phenomenal every single night. He's going to have Maxey or one of the others to step up and be phenomenal. I think that uh, the Knicks has a better cohesion of players than the 76ers has a great player. But I just like the Knicks lost this one, but I like the Knicks in this series. Embiid has to be that guy every single night, and I don't know if he can be consistently, to be honest with you, in this series.
The blood on the leg in there is odd to me. I'm no doctor, but they always cut to them like massaging the knee. And if this was like surgery from months ago, I wouldn't expect the wound to be bleeding. So either it's a completely unrelated cut, or like you said, maybe are we getting some Hollywood cinematics here? But I think this was how this series was going to go. And the Sixers should have been up 2-1, or they should have had a chance to go up 2-1, because obviously when it's 1-1, that yesterday's game is completely different. But this is indicative of just how talented Joel Embiid can be. When he's on his game, when he's playing at an MVP level, this team is capable of beating anybody. And even when he's not playing at that level, now his stat line is 50%, but like you said, he's not fully healthy. This team is still really, really good. I think it's both a indication of how good Philadelphia is. I think they've got a legitimate shot at making an Eastern Conference Finals if they can rally back. They've really beaten the Knicks twice. They're only going to get credit for one of them, but they've beaten the Knicks twice. They just couldn't finish out. They beat them for 47 minutes and 55 seconds pretty much. They can get through this thing, and I think it's one of the big reasons why, to me, I don't overreact to a series until we're at like game three, game four. Because first two games, Boston series, this series, anything can happen in the first two games. We still have 5 games left, and I know everyone's, well, now you got to beat them 4 times in 5 games. No, you don't. You got to beat them once, and then you got to beat them once again, and then everything starts shifting. And I think the Sixers are very much alive in this thing. They've been competitive in every single one. I think they match up exceptionally well if they can take care of the glass. And if they can get anything, quite literally anything, out of Tobias Harris, the Sixers have a shot. Let's go to LA, where last night the comedy rat, I can't remember who I was talking to, but it's comedic how much better the Nuggets are than the Lakers. And Rick, they take care of business again last night. The Nuggets, they beat the Lakers. They move up to 3-0. Your thoughts quickly before we move to the draft.
Huh. I think the writing was on the wall when LeBron cursed out the media after game two with the loss. He knows I had to have that game. We needed to have that game. The first, I mean, you talked about the 76ers and the Knicks. The first two games, the Lakers could have been up. The first two games, the Lakers were in it. They could have won. They
Mhm.
could have been up. I'm not gonna sit there and say it. They played good for 42 minutes and 39 seconds, and I don't. Look, they dropped the games. And LeBron knows that with this team, you can't afford. It's gonna be a struggle to win every game. Every game is game 7 for them. At least that's how it feels. And to be down 0-2, that was. I think LeBron knew then. Like, you know what? I'm frustrated. This is not how this was supposed to have gone. We needed to get those wins early on so we can give ourselves a chance. Now down 3-love. It's a wrap. I mean, because it's LeBron, I think he squeeze one out and get a gentleman sweep. But he's gonna have to turn it to Thanos for a night to guarantee a victory so they can make it to a game 5. Period.
Nuggets, whenever they play the Lakers, they're the State Farm commercial, right? And they're just sitting there with their little dollar bill on the end of the fishing pole. Gotta be quicker than
Almost
that.
got it.
Gotta be quicker
Yeah.
than that. That's the Lakers. That's the Nuggets. That's the perpetual motion of that matchup. Let's head to the
I mean,
draft
the
where
Lake the
Caleb.
Lakers are number 10 seed for a reason.
Well, no, the Warriors were, but also for a reason. Let's head to the draft where Caleb Williams goes number one. We get QBs 1, 2, 3. The Patriots, despite all the posturing, stay with the number 3 pick. What stood out to you in last night's draft?
Number 8, Michael Penix for the Falcons. You just paid Kirk Cousins $180 million and say he's your guy. I don't know why anybody would pay that guy $180 million coming off an Achilles anyway. But then they backdoor and sign Michael Penix. There was all through this offseason, the talk was Michael Penix was a end of the first round pick
Mhm.
or early second round pick. There's a lot of fluff going on and a lot of posturing. I don't think anyone had him pegged going number 8 to the Falcons. So I think that was interesting. I'm not mad at that. But I think the most head scratching thing was the Buffalo Bills, who just lost their number one receiver, decides to punt on number one receivers in the draft and keep sliding back in the draft to miss out on receivers for other. What the hell are you doing if you're Buffalo? If you're the fans of Buffalo, you have to be losing your minds. You're going to pass up on receivers that we need. So you basically said, I'm wasting Josh Allen's this upcoming year. I'm wasting it. He's getting hit for nothing. He's throwing footballs for nothing. This is a wasted year. If you're the Buffalo Bills fans, you have to be scratching your head about what the hell is going on for sure.
Yeah, well, to the Falcons' point, I mean, Kirk Cousins is out here signing, like you said, a 3-year deal, and I understand if you're trying to go the Alex Smith route that Kansas City did, where we're going to draft a quarterback in the top
Hmm.
14, I think it was 11 or something like that. He's going to sit for a year, and then he's going to play. So I get it. You say, okay, let's sit Penix for a season, but are you going to sit him for 3? I mean, and
No.
on top of that, that issue is compounded when you got Roma Dunze goes 9, who was a very talented wide receiver. You got Olu Fashanu, who goes number 11, who's a phenomenal offensive lineman. You had options here. You had options, and if you really wanted Michael Penix Jr. so damn bad, like you said, just trade back. Just do the Buffalo route of trade back.
Yeah.
Do the Jacksonville Jaguars route of trading back. The options were there. I mean, stunning to me was the Falcons pick, and I think you hit both on the head. The decision by Buffalo, this whole offseason has been a very
Weird.
curious offseason, and I kind of
Weird.
wonder if we are headed towards the first NBA NFL trade demand where we don't see this in the NFL. We just do not see massive trade demands on the same. We see them, but they're kind of like you're being a diva. In the NBA, we get star trade demands and something comes of it. I wonder if
Yeah.
Josh Allen is kind of like, what am I working with here? You've given me nothing. You've traded away everything. You've let every good piece on both sides of the football leave. For what? And I think it's the cautionary tale of not overpay, when you pay a quarterback huge money, there are ramifications further down your roster that you cannot miss on draft picks, and in this case, Buffalo is just stockpiling them, Rick.
100%. I don't know. They must be stockpiling for the next quarterback in question because apparently it's not going to be in Josh Allen's era because I don't know how they rebound from this.
It'll be a long one. Let's head to the basketball court where Sweet 16 of Basketball Bedlam fully underway. Kentucky dominates in the first day
Mhm.
of the Sweet 16. More action continues tonight. Your thoughts on what day one brought us in the West and the Midwest regions? Top seeds continue to reign supreme.
2 words: Jameson Johnson. This has been my man 20 grand since ground zero. Y'all know how I feel about Jameson Johnson, the most complete player I've ever laid eyes on God's green earth in SimWorld prep or otherwise. So I have to say that. Also, the U has been putting numbers on the board, haven't it?
Dude,
This Miami team looking like the Canes on the football field right now. They're looking like 92 Canes, Warren Sapping them, the basketball version. Uh, those are my two biggest takeaways from in those games, and I'm thoroughly impressed. Always impressed with James Johnson, my guy, but I'm thoroughly impressed with the U and how they're stepping up in this basketball arena. They look really good. They look really dangerous.
I mean, Kentucky, this is what we expected. Good night from Caden Ship, 28, but we expected Kentucky to make it at least this far, right? So they're Elite Eight bound. But Miami continues to be this shocking one to me because you look at it. They average 98 points per game, this top five in all of college basketball. We've seen this huge scoring influx this season in the SWU. But to me, the most impressive part is they have 3 losses on the season. Those are the only 3 games in which their opponent has been within 10 points of them. They don't
That's crazy.
lose or they don't win close games. They just blow out quite literally everybody. I mean, it
Well,
is.
Marsh, Miami, blow. Yeah, I kind of see that. It
You said it.
coincides.
You said it, not me. But the piece of it that you'd look at this roster, say, okay, it's got to be Dominic Bianco, highly touted recruit. It's not. It's been Jermaine McLemore, 26
Yeah,
points, 13 boards last
yeah,
night. Norshad Omer, who's a senior on that roster, 31 and 15. Like these are huge nights from guys. I think
yeah.
McLemore, who's a freshman, he's going to stick around. I would expect next season, but his draft stock has skyrocketed for Miami. So you look at this roster, you say, okay, it's got to be that. It's not, and that I think is what makes it so dangerous. Is it doesn't have the name brand that Kentucky does, where it's Jamison Johnson, it's DJ Wagner,
Yeah.
it's Glory Tate. You're like, who is Jermaine McLemore, and why is this guy suddenly cooking me?
Hey,
It's not a surprise anymore.
Hey, let me tell you something. Jermaine McLemore is like a short haired girl with an extra piece hanging down the middle. He is a stud. I'm telling you. I don't think he sticks around. I think that he went ahead. I think he leaves, goes to the draft. His stock is high. His team is doing well. McLemore, if you don't know who he is, you will know very soon.
I've quite literally never heard of that reference, so thank you for enlightening me on Friday. Our last piece, SimWorld Prep, Heartland Zombie Stars. 3-game losing streak for Heartland, and we're kind of in the season where you want to not be having any type of losing streak. What's going wrong, in your opinion, in Heartland Zombie Stars?
It's the timing. I mean, every team goes on a losing streak, right? For Heartland, it's no different for them. It's the time. It's bad timing because we wrapping up the season. You want to get the momentum together, and I will say this. I think is the losing streak looks even bigger not because of the timing, but because you have players who's doing a lot of talking on the team currently, right? And when you're losing and you're being loud, not the whole team, but certain players, when you're losing and you're being loud, it exasperates the situation. So now you kind of put more of a target on your back. And I don't think I like Heartland, but I don't think they have the offensive firepower to put more Hornets on themselves than what they are already going to be dealing with coming to the race to one.
They are a typical one-man show who I have written off, so I don't need to bore
Simple as that,
people
huh?
with that one all over again. Uh, that is our show on this Friday. We've got SimWorld action coming up this weekend over on ESPN2 and SimWorld TV. We will be back on Monday recapping all of that, recapping the continuation of the SWFL draft. We'll be talking some continued SWBA playoffs, and of course, we'll have a Final Four by the next time we are talking here on Monday. Rick, thank you for joining us. This has been the Bonnet Brothers here on SimWorld TV, the only place you can see the game, be the game.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld Sports.